Good evening. Welcome to the second class of the week. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
All right, cool. Well, did you have a chance to let any of that information sit in and adjust from last night?
Yeah, I'm convinced they'll screw it up.
No. You know what? Once we start, it's going to be a lot easier. That
I
one.
did upgrade to High Sierra.
What?
I did upgrade to High Sierra.
That's good. How'd that go for you?
Took about an hour.
Yep. Okay, so tonight, announcements. Oh, it helps if I spell announcements correct, doesn't it? All right. No really new announcements tonight. We will continue from where we were last night. I am still having some issues, so I'm trying to get my files transferred over so I can open them on my tablet, and for some reason, it doesn't want to do that. So that's what's taken so long. But while we're doing it, let's go ahead and discuss a little of HTML, and we're going to go ahead and talk about basically tonight. So, the basics of HTML and CSS. Software for this class, Adobe CC 2018. I know I mentioned it last night, but I'll mention it every class.
High Sierra.
All right, now, and High Sierra, if you can put it on your machine. Some machines cannot handle it. I do understand that. All right, are there any questions?
None for me.
Okay, well, then what we're going to do is we're going to start by talking about CSS has multiple levels, right? You noticed that last night.
Yes.
It's like a flow chart. I'm going to explain it, and then I'll go into breaking it out. So yes, right now I don't have my screen shared. In fact, here, let's do this. We'll share the screen onto the class. There we go. Okay, so something to remember about with CSS. It's like a flow chart. You go down to the lowest common factor of everything you want to change. By doing that, it will help, okay? Now, when you do that, there will be times if you go too far, you could tell. You can actually start to see where you've gone too far. And that's something that a lot of people have that hard time with. All right, so let's go ahead. You know what? I will send those files out to everybody later tonight. Like I said, I am having some internet issues. It's not wanting to connect properly. So, needless to say, I'll do some improvising here tonight. All right. Yes, I'm on my backup internet. I always have a backup internet. And that's where the issue is coming tonight, because the primary one is down here. All right, so what I was going to do, we're going to bring up Word. All right. Now, HTML5, you can actually write in any text document, right? Now, something to remember is when you start HTML5, it's always best and easiest that you tell which HTML version you're in, okay? So let's bring Dreamweaver back up. You'll notice, and I'm going to go over to code for a minute, just code, okay? As you can see here, doc, let's see, open, exclamation point, doc type, space HTML, close. That's HTML5, okay? Other versions have something different there. That's the way you could tell. But since we're only working mainly with HTML5, that's the one we're going to go ahead and play with, all right? All right, so you always start with the version of HTML5 that you're on, HTML that you're on. So next, from there, what we do is we have to tell it, I'm starting the HTML section, as you can see here. All right, so yeah, I'm going to go along with this, but then we're going to be making some changes. Okay, now I'm starting the actual HTML5. There's 3 sections. All right, just as there is with just like there is with Word, you have your header, your body, and your footer, right?
Right.
Now the header, some people confuse the header and the head, okay? The head, all the head is, that's the starting point, okay? And everything in the head is the information that the web browser uses, all right? So again, we're going to start there with HTML, with head, close. Hi, Jesse, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, perfect. Welcome to class. All right, as I was just discussing, there's a few things that we're going to go over tonight. Oh, good. Now it's working. So we're going to start with the coding basics of HTML, all right? So as I'm breaking out here, which version of HTML we're using? Open, or the greater than, exclamation point, doc type, space HTML, and then less than. What that is that is the HTML5, okay? Always HTML5 has that header. Other versions will have something else. Some versions, if you look at the website, may even have something else up there. It all depends on what it was written in, okay? For example, Dreamweaver no longer does that. It used to say Dreamweaver up here, 3.0. Long time ago, they got rid of it because that's what was considered dirty code. It's code that isn't needed, okay? But you're always needing what version of HTML it is, because when the web browser looks at it, if it doesn't say it's HTML, it's not going to read it to begin with. Then it starts reading at the HTML point. All right, so next, like I was just discussing, the head. This is broke out like a letter, all right? So we have the head, all right? Then we have the header, and in the header, the head is what's called meta tags. Can anybody tell me what meta tags are? Okay, a meta tag. A meta tag is the information that the web browser uses to put it in the search engine, okay, to rank it. That's mainly what's in the head of the HTML document, all right? So we've got the meta tags. We've got the title of the page, okay? So page title. And then some of them might actually have more information. And meta tags, there could be numerous meta tags, okay? And I'll show you that later in the mod. But right now, we're going to go with what's automatically put there, all right? And as you can see here, the title, that's the page title. So if I'm on the contact page, this will say Lawn Care and Landscaping contact page, or something along those lines. What that does. All right, you see up here where we have design 248_1, and then so on? That information right there is what's in the title. That's how you get that page's name to show up there, okay? And there could be certain internet browser information as well. because it's telling certain browsers, if you're going to use this for that browser, if your browser opens it, set your browser at this page size or set this to this. It's an automatic setting. They don't always put them because most are set, but that's getting less and less the further HTML5 goes because the web browsers are starting to catch up with HTML5. All right, now we have our header. Now, usually in the header is stuff like, let's see. Okay, well, first we're going to go over back to here. We're going to do a meta tag, okay? So the meta tag for this would be meta, and who knows what this actually stands for? Equals, quote, UTF, -8, quote, and then close. Does anybody know what UTF is?
No.
What that is that's basically saying this is the text we're going to be using. This is the alphabet. All right. That's setting it up for UTF, which was typewriter font 8 at one time, if I remember right. Okay. Don't quote me on that. I'll double check that later. But anyway, that's what it's saying is this is the keyboard we're using for this coding. And as we mentioned, most coding is done. All coding is done in English. Therefore, it's going to probably be a UTF-8 or something like that. All right, the basic coding. All right, next, well, now we come to the close of the head. We always open, and I did goof up here. There we go. For the head, we have to have always, okay, I'm going to put an enter here for now just so we can separate them. All right, this is the HTML. This is the head. We're going to do the title. So the open. Let's see. Title does not have a slash in front of it, okay? All that's saying is this is the title of this page, right? Close that. And for example, APP242 underscore 1 underscore 2018, and then we'll stop at that. But it'll keep going, okay? And then we'll close the title. Okay, so we have an open and we have a close. You know what? I'm sorry. I just closed it there. We have the open. We open a comment and we always close it. Every comment that opens has a closing. Right, so we have this, and we're going to close it with title / title. All right, so see how we opened it with the title, and we closed it with the title, right? Everybody sees that, correct?
Yes.
Now, notice we also opened with the head. Now, the head is actually this all this section until we get to the main part, okay? Because you notice none of this stuff in the header shows up on the page, right? In the head. But once we get down to the header, that's different. Because the body has the header in it in this case. And it has the footer. It's a little different, but it's close, all right? So we have our header. Now, from here, okay, we have the title. Now we're going to close the head of the document. /HEAD close. All right, so we opened it and we closed it. Now you notice meta tags don't do that. This whole thing, meta tags, is just an open, and then this closes it automatically. All right, that's the way it is with meta tags. All right, so now we just closed our head. So now we're going to go into the body of the document, okay? So open the body. All right. Now we're going to start going into our section of information, okay? So we have our header. Well, the header comes within the body, all right? So we're going to change that just a little on purpose to look like this. So I'm showing you the way the Word document does it, but then how the actual HTML document does it. All right, so we have the body. Now, inside the body, we have sections, all right? So this is where sections come in. Remember, all those different sections that we had right here, right? Our header, our nav, our footer, our body, and so on, the banner, the button. Those are different sections. Selectors are the sections. All right, so we have our different sections. And this is where all the coding is. It's in each one of those sections. All right. Well, then, because you notice the body, we have our header here. The header and then the sections. So these get moved in. Okay, the coding. Now we close the header. All right. Boy, I'm doing lousy at typing today. Okay. Now, in the body, though, we have the footer. Okay. So we have all the sections. Now, the sections of the header, to close the header. Now we have our footer down at the bottom. Okay. The footer. That's going to be the same thing, coding. Close footer. Close body. All right, and then, because notice, we open the head here. We go to the very bottom. Well, we opened it with HTML. We're going to close the HTML, all right? So this whole section falls within the HTML. So now we're going to go back to here, all right? Now this next one is we open here and then dash dash. What that does, there's two dashes. I'm going to actually put a space so you can see it. But normally there's no spaces, all right? What this does, this is not a command, but it is notes for the designer and future designers. Okay? Then we got to close that. Well, to close it, period, space, the double, and close. Okay? So this is the open, and this is the close for a comment. Comments do nothing except they're notes for the programmer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, now, from here then, now we're going to take on, we're going to put in a division. Section is a division. So we have the section, then we break down to the division, okay? So here, as you can see, the body, the section, coding. Then we'll add inside of that what's called a div tag, okay? The div tag, which is more coding for that specific section. Remember how I was talking about you go to the smallest one that affects everything?
Yes.
This is where that comes in. Okay? So we have the close. Notice our section is still open, right? I never closed the section. So now we close the section. And I could put 5 or 6 divs, close div, or whatever I want into that section. See how that works? So this one section right now has 3 divs in it. Well, that would be like this right here. See how this div affects all 4 of those?
Yes.
This section, we have the section. This div controls that one, but this section controls all 3 of the divs, just like here. Okay? So is that making sense how that flows?
Yes.
All right, now we're going to go over and we're going to create our own document. So we're going to close that for now. File, new. We're going to use HTML, create. HTML5 as is. Okay, create. Now, notice it automatically puts all that there for me. I have my open HTML, and if you click on them, they highlight the next section, the close of it. Now, if I take that close out, watch what happens. All right, so here, nothing's happened yet. No issues, right?
All right.
But we're going to go File, Save As, and we're going to call this test.html. Come over here. Now see we have the circle with an X in it right here.
Yeah.
In other words, that's telling me tag must be paired, missing the close header. It tells me what's missing on line 3. Line 3 is the open header. So the close would then be right there, correct?
Right.
That's where it was. So does that make sense? What happens, you see if you don't close it. It tells you, and it will not work right. All right, now we're going to move to the next step. All right, so now we have this. Now I'm going to split. All right, so watch as we're doing this. We're going to start up here, and you know what? The meta tag, I have it, the title. We're going to call this test page. All right, save, Command S. Now, I'm not playing with the CSS, so all related files doesn't come up, only the save all. All right, so now I come down underneath the head, I start the body, right? Here's the body, and notice there's an open and a close on the body. Well, now I'm putting the information in between there. So first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a section, right? So to do that, we go back to the beginning. We'll hit enter. It automatically throws it there. All right, so section. Well, if I'm doing a section, did I just do that improperly? What did I do wrong?
Didn't add the code.
I did not add the open section. See how that works? Now I'll close the section because now I'm ready to go from there. But look, it automatically closes it for me. Now do you see why I prefer to use Dreamweaver over Word or any other text program? It'll automatically put those there for you. All right, so now I hit the enter. All right, so in this section, well, now let's go ahead. I hit the tab. We're going to put open here. What is that again? It's a note, remember? Notice how it grayed everything out. Okay, this is the notes section or notes area. Now watch when I close that. To close it, it's the dash dash, boom. See how that went to blue again?
Mm-hmm.
What that did is this, until you close it, everything down below is notes. Okay, so we've got that one. All right, so next what we want to do, now we're going to put a div style. Okay, now we're going to create a div. The division, okay, and I'm going to call it notice style. When I hit enter, it automatically puts it up there. And look, I could do align content, items, self, but instead, I'm going to go CO color. Boom. And it just did that. Okay, see how it just adds it for me? And now I'm going to do, let's do pound 00FF00. Notice that's green, right? All right, so now that just said that this section is going to be green. This is what's called inline CSS. Okay, but now watch this. We hit the enter. Now remember we were talking yesterday about the H1, 2, 3, 4, right? So there's
Right.
open H1. Notice it did not put a close to it, did it? H1 close. Okay, so let's go back and do this one more time. Open H1 close. Close. H1 does not do that. It's not an automatic. You have to remember. Now, what I do, this is the quote H1 code, period. Now I want to close that. How do I close it?
Open slash
H1. In the other bracket.
There we go. Now we hit enter, come back up here, and look, my green, and there's my stuff, right? All right, now this is where, see, remember, for the most part, you cannot copyright code because there's only so much ways to code things, right? And this is where a lot, now you could copyright the look of the page when you're finished, but you cannot copyright the actual code. All right, so what I'm going to do is copy this. And we're going to take that back to there, Command V, V, V. And we're going to go down 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now notice it took it in. All right, now you can go back and clean it up later, or it'll eventually clean itself up, okay? So now watch, H1, 2, and we have to close the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, now we come up here and look. Now I have H1 through 6. So H1, H1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something's not right. Why is that H1? Oh, I know what's wrong. No, actually, nothing's wrong with that code. Why is it saying something's wrong with that code? Okay, we're going to read. Huh. That's really interesting because that code should be working. That's H1. So we're going to cheat. And there are ways. This is one of those places where Dreamweaver is not doing what I want it to do. So see how that's just a little bit larger than the 2? So now this one's going to be gone. There. And it turned around and did the same thing. Well, I see what I did, I think. Let's double check. Now, oh, I know exactly what I did wrong. I forgot to close the div. So this comes back. So H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, down at the bottom is where we close the div. So open / div close. And there we go. See, now it worked. All right, there. See how that difference worked? Now I can come back up here because, well, H1, H2, I could change it here. See how that changed it? Or I can go to here and do it a little quicker. Okay, so there we have it. That's now H1 through H6. All right, so next, what we want to do, we're going to hit enter again, and I'm going to put, remember, what is that? What is just a P? Huh?
Paragraph.
Paragraph. All right, so now I hit the enter again, so it's in between them. Now, you don't have to hit enter because if this doesn't go to another line, this is the code open P. Notice lowercase for paragraph. Okay. Now I hit enter and see how that puts it right there. And notice because I opened the div, I closed the div. This changed the color. So if I wanted to, I can actually take this command, copy it, and right here, whoops, right here, put another one. Well, this div, we're going to make it, there we go, light blue. Or let's go to blue. There we go. To blue. All right, now I close the div, right? And look, see how I just made that blue? I could also add in there style color. Notice I type font. Nothing comes up. Now I hit the space. I want the weight. Well, font weight's a little bit different, okay? So I could do that as well. But that's where it's a lot easier to start using the, come up to here, I click here, and the properties. See, I can start playing with it right here. Does that make sense? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, so now, all right, so we have that. And next, what we're going to do, now we're going to talk about lists. All right. So next, enter. Now we're going to go open paragraph. Yeah. The following are the 3 types of lists. Cool. Okay, so now I hit enter, and look, it's black text because I didn't put a color in there. It automatically defaults to black text. All right, so now we're there. So we hit enter. Okay, so here, now we're going to talk about the lists. So first, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put what's called a break. Okay, what that does is that takes down a line, all right? So you're going to see that here in a second. So right now, this one is going to be open P, and this one's the ordered list, O-R-D, ordered list. Okay? Now notice, see how there's a break right there? Now if I take that break out, see the difference? That's what a BR does. And I love using breaks, okay? Now, so I'm going to keep one right here for this, okay? Now the ordered list, so I hit enter. You have to open a list. Okay, so list, this is going to be 1. Now I'm going to copy that. Command C. V, Command V. Whoops. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. All right, here's what an ordered list does. Okay. Unordered list. All right, so there's 1. And now we need to close it. So we have to close that section. Notice, I didn't tell it what type of list it was going to be. I just went straight to the list. All right, so what I need to do here is tell it it's an ordered list. Open OL, close. Welcome back, Jesse. Okay, that, now we're going to copy that, take that away. Now that's going to be right there. Now watch. Now by telling it it's an ordered list instead of just a regular list, it actually puts numbers there. All right?
Okay.
So next, what we need to do is we're going to put another break, which is what? What's the break?
BR.
Okay. And now I'm going to put paragraph. And this one's going to be the unordered list. Unordered list. Okay. So I hit enter. Now the unordered list, well, guess what? UL. All right. So now I can just hit those enters. And now what we're going to do, the same thing as up here. Okay. So we're going to take this. So the list, no matter what, is always a list, right?
Right.
So there we go. Now there's the unordered list. Okay. Unordered list, unordered list. Okay. And now I want to close that. I closed it. Now I want to put another break. So the BR. Now I'm going to put plain list. Open P. So plain list. And we're going to grab these again. Come down. Okay, so there we have that. And now we're going to close the section. Well, the section's already closed because guess what? We did that to begin with. Right? So there's the section. Now inside the body, now we have to put the footer. All right? So the footer is going to go here. Open, footer. Notice it closes the footer as well, right? And this is where content for the footer goes. All right, now let's take a look at what we have here. And let's go back down here, and I'm going to, after this one, we're going to put the break again. There we go. Now we're going to save this. Now watch what this page looks like. There's our page. Now, is this making sense now how that coding and those sections were working yesterday?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense today.
Okay. Now, do you see why I said I'm going to show this fast, but tomorrow we're going to tie it together? All right, so now here's how the CSS works with it. What we're going to do. Okay, so we've got all this set up. So now what I want to do is we're going to go to the top of this document. All right, so this section, what I want to do is I'm going to create a new CSS because there isn't one for this page. So we're going to say new source, create. Now I'm going to browse, and this is going to be test, okay? And this will go to right here, test. So save. And okay. Now notice test comes up. Well, the other one doesn't because I didn't tie this page to it, but you could tie that page to it by linking as well. So you can have more than one CSS file attached to a page. All right, so now what I want to do, and you'll see where that comes in handy later on next week. All right, so now what I want to do is take, this is where the next section comes in. All right, so now you see how all this comes together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse? Does that make sense to you as well, Jesse?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so now, CSS breakout. All right, so, and I'm going to send these files out to help you guys out, okay? But for right now, CSS, we have the main CSS file. All right, so our CSS file, then we now break the CSS file out to the media. That determines the breakpoints and the size of pages or other differences, okay? So as we go back and look, we're going to bring up, let's open my, see, notice how test CSS is there now? Okay, so we're going to bring up my index. Now, on the CSS designer, notice how it's tied to the CSS, the styles versus the test. Okay, so the width, that's the media. Global means all of them. All sources means all the CSS styles attached to that page. Global, all the sizes. Then you break the sizes down into what's called media. Selectors are the sections. All right, so let's go back to here. All right, so I choose this section, okay? So let's use this div. All right, or actually, let's go a little lower. We're gonna use, yeah, we're gonna use the order list, okay? Or no, let's go ahead and use that div. We're gonna use this div. So I'm going to add it, body selection div. Again, body excuse me, body section div. Body section div. Body section div. So now if I wanted just to go to the section, I'd highlight there. Or if I wanted to go to the div, I'd click there. Remember how I was talking about this yesterday? Body section div. And notice in that div are all those H1, H2, H3, 4, 5, and 6. So does this now make a little more sense how this works?
Yes.
And Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Mommy?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go back to CSS Designer. I have this body section, and this is where we break the section. So, okay, we're done with that one. So we have the body. We have media. The media breaks into the selections. Now the selections break into the individual properties for each portion of that. All right, so it's just a flow down. Now remember, as we go back, you go to the lowest possible for the most of what you want to do. Like this, div, if I want to affect all those, I'll go just to the div. That's the lowest that I need to go. But if I want to go lower, I can choose H1. See how that now does H1? Now for this section, let's go ahead and put a background color on it of FFFF00. All right. Now notice nothing happened. Right? Again, that's because we're not down to the lowest. Does that make sense? Where if I go to H1, so we're going to clear that, go to H1, pound. See how that just added that to that? Now if I go back to here again, okay, now we're going to do this, pound. Now, why did it do it that time, but not the previous time? Do you remember what I was saying? Whenever you use the colors, you have to have the pound sign. Or common term for that is the hashtag, right? But it is called a pound sign when you're programming. All right, so next, what we want to do is, that's the breakout of CSS right there. That's how it works. So does that now make more sense on what we're doing here? And let's see, we're going to go back to this one. And now we're going to change just that. All right. See how that changed just that section and the text? Because I didn't go all the way. Now, if I went all the way down to, because that took it to the lowest one. This is one section above that, right? So let's say I want all that text instead of being green that I have here. Well, now we're going to do see how that just changed the color of the code? The letters. So this is the inline CSS. Okay. Anything that says style, that's CSS. But if I do it right here, it's just inline CSS. I do over here, in this main thing, that's external CSS so that I can do it on more than one page and tie other pages to that. Everybody understands that, right?
Yes.
Well, guess what? Now, what that does, now I delete that, and we're back to there. And what this just did, I hope, this tied everything we discussed last night together. Did that help?
Yes.
Okay, so now, let's go back to my files. We are going to delete the test and the test. All right, so now, this puts us back to our main page here. Always, the home page is called index, right? All right, so now, we no longer need this. So we've actually just finished up explaining this. So now we could go in and practice this more. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bring this up. Now you guys see my whole screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so now what we need to do, remember we were talking about mod 9. Now we've got all these set up, right? All three of those. Did we get them all set up?
No.
No. So first, what we need to do then is set this last one up, right?
Right.
Well, the last one is real simple. So to do this, if you don't do it this way, you're going to have to start your coding over. Okay?
God.
And that's from the very beginning, because this is where Dreamweaver, like I was saying, has that little quirk. All right, we're going to go to the styles and just use code for a minute, okay? Now we come down here. All this. Now, does that make a little more sense what that stands for? Okay, like the nav. What's the UL?
No.
Unordered list.
Uh-huh.
LI is list. So this is where we put that. Okay, so I go back up. This is my desktop version. All right. So now from 127 up to 61. Hold my shift. I'm going to, come on. There we go. Down to the bottom of that, down to 127. I'm going to copy that. So Command C. All right, now this is where the fun comes in. Because what we're going to do, go back up. Remember, I said you cannot copyright code. And this is what a lot of programmers do to save time. Rather than rebuild all that, I am going to, now this is smartphone, right? Now the minimum width for the smartphone is what? Let's go to Photoshop, 480. So now, 480. File, save all related, save all. Now watch. Now, you'll notice that's set up exactly like the other one. But there's not a lot that needs to be changed on that, so it looks like that is there. That's the good thing. So, first things first. Notice these are all centered, okay? Well, to center these, what I have to do is, well, now we go back here. Notice that put a 481 in there. So we click here. And what that does, we're going to go back to source code. Okay. So I click here. Come on, go where you're supposed to go. There we go. All right. Services. Now we're going to go to the nav class. All right. Now, so I have my nav, no other nav, width 25%. Well, now, instead, we're going to delete that. Okay? Come down here, and we're going to turn off the float. Now they're on top of each other, just like that. Okay, and notice there's still a big difference here. So we'll look. Okay, we did not set that up, so we're not going to really play with that one much. All right, so next, well, now we need the banner. Well, look at the banner. It's perfect, right? Except this. So let's go to the banner. Height. Well, if I go up any, see how that jumped out? Now I go down until it quits jumping. Okay. Now notice all this is down. Well, so we're going to go down here, click on this one, the H3, which is there. That's 100 pixels. Well, let's take it down. And notice how that does this, right? Well, now what we're going to go do is go to the H1, which is the bigger one, this one, H1, and its width, we're going to go to width, okay, there's 50, and nothing happened. So how do we fix that so that it actually does it? Well, one, let's go to 50 there. See how that just took it off? Well, what we need to do is go till that appears the way we want it. Okay. All right, so we want it kind of like that. Now it's still too far down, so we go up to the H3. Oh, what did I do? Can you tell me what I did wrong?
You push enter.
I didn't push enter. Yes, remember, key factor. Big one. And this is, like I said, that's a mistake you probably will make quite a few times so you get used to it. Okay, so we have that there. Enter. Now, now we go back to here. Notice 100. Hold my shift. And there we go. It's still hard to read, but you're getting the point now, how to change this, right? Now this is too far back, so now let's go to that one, 13%. So this width should actually, instead of, back to there, instead of pixels, let's do 13%. Okay, now this one's still over too much, so we're going to go up. And there we go. Now, actually, we could probably go to the button and bring it down just a little more. And there we go. Come down. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? Now, notice these are set at 50%, right? Well, now we want them to be 100% for both the blue and the green. That's weird. Okay, so the green, come over here, needs to, there we go. And then this one Why is the blue not going to 100%? Make sure we're not missing anything. Oh, we just did it. See how that messed that up? Well, let's take a look. Why? Blue, 50. Green. Oh, guess what? The green, there is no width there. So we're going to put back the 50%. Okay. And float left. Okay, so what happened? That's going to be off. Let's go back to the blue. Okay, 50%. Now you're starting to see, well, the problem is, let's go back to this one. Blue, width, whoops, 100%. Height gone. Green width, 100%. Okay, so let's go back down. All right, so we have that one working. Almost. But now, notice this one is not. Okay, so what I'm going to do to make this work is we're going to go to this one, double click it. Now, if you come over here, click. Now, we're going to put maximum width, 778. Go about 10 up. But look, I just lost that whole thing. It went up to there. This is why I don't like doing that route with this template. All right, so we go to here, everything jumped up. Right, so let's go to the 768. And you'll notice, all right, so now I'm on the 480. See the 480 works. Let's go to the 768. Try this once again. Okay, the blue, 50%. Enter. Green. %. By all accounts, that should be working. But you're starting to see now the issue that we're having, right? So, one of the ways to fix this, well, let's go down. Now we have our 1/4, which are the pictures. Hit there. All right. And now I need the footer. So we go down to the footer. Oh, guess what? I don't have the footer set up. So now we're going to add the footer. Okay. So now we have that, but we go to here. Same thing. It's still working, right? Let's look at this one. Oh, it messed it all the way up. Do you realize I had this working the other day without doing that? So, what I want, here's what I'm expecting to be turned in. You're not going to worry about the 480 right now. Because apparently, the fix that they did, they messed up already. So, I want to see the 1024 and the 768. Now, part of the problem is this template, okay? The way that this template was created, Yeah. It was created a few versions ago. And this is what happens when you start bringing versions forward. So what I want to see is the 1024, the 768, and that's it. All right?
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Now, the footer, the only thing I want to see, what we're going to do now, we're going to go back. We're going to close this. Don't say it. We're going to do this. And I will take you through to what you need to turn in right now. Okay?
Okay.
Gone. All right. So let's go back to here. I just emptied that out. Here's the original files again. Command C, Command V, and refresh. There we go. Okay, so here we have it. We start over, right? Let's do the split. Come on, there's the code. Oh, I didn't want to open that. Let's try this again. Let's open the index. That helps. All right, split code. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to set this up exactly what you need to turn in for the assignment and for the assessment. And again, I am also sending out these files this week so you can start learning the terms. All right?
Okay.
Now, first, what we have to do is tie the source in, right? So we're going to attach the existing source. So this is going to go a little fast, but remember exactly what we did yesterday, step by step pretty much. All right, so we have this. Now we have all that set up. So we're going to go to the 1024 to start with. Well, first things first. We're going to grab this color for the background. Remember, file, page property, background, and V. And yes, yes. All right. It didn't change it, did it?
Nope.
Should have. Oh, see what I did?
2 pounds on.
2 pounds. Now apply. Guess what? Now you can see that's something else a lot of people do. And I do that one quite often, so I have to go back and do that. But that's something a lot of people do because if you copy it and paste it, the pound sign that was there doesn't go away in that section. Okay, so next, what we want to do is the links, right? Well, we're going to come to here, grab that green file, page properties, okay? Links now. Yes, yes. Okay, so the links, now if there's nothing there, all you have to do is the Command V. Never underline and bold. And okay, there we go. So we now have that, right? So next, what we want to do is we need to start setting that up. Remember, we're not doing the cell phone. And you saw why. Well, we are doing this one, and we're doing the tablet, okay? So we're going to start here. We want those broke out. So first things first, we go to here, okay? That, well, we now need to add it, right? There we go. So we have the logo. We're going to left float. It brings everything up. And then at the same time, we're also going to put 13%. It's a good start. All right, next, what we want to do is we're going to take the nav. Add the nav. All right, now the nav, is this going to work to take care of that? No. Why not? You remember what I said? You have to go to the one that controls the lowest. So this only controls the UL. This controls all four of the lists. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we add it there. Now, none. Boom, gone. Piece of cake. Whoops. Here. N-O-N-E. There we go. All right, next. Now we're going to float left. Nothing came up. Why? Because now each one of those is going up next to each other, not this whole section next to it. So now we have to go to that next section, add it. And now those add. Okay. And we're going to take it down. Let's go 70. Okay, there's a good start. That puts it right there with the E. And then we're going to break out the rest in a minute. But first, what I want to do is go to HP Banner, and we're going to clear. Now I could go back to those and work on their width. So let's put 10%. Okay, so that's close. Okay, it's not going to be 20. Let's go to 15. Perfect. All right, so now we have that all set up, right?
Right.
So the next thing that we want to do, now we go down to here, and we're going to set this one up. Okay, remember, if I go in here, that whole thing's already set. What I want to do is set these to the left, right? To the right. So we're going to hit here. And notice that's part of the banner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put that under the banner so that they stay similar to where they're supposed to be. So I have in my mind a nice organization here. All right, so next, what I want to do. Well, we're going to right float. Slow down. There we go. Right float. All right. I'm going to hit this next one. Same thing. Whoa, what'd I do wrong? I tried adding media instead of the selector. Okay. Remember the difference. The media is for the page size. The selector is for the sections. Properties are individual parts of that section. Okay. All right. So now, well, we're going to left float, excuse me, right float, and right clear. All right. Now the button, we're going to do the same thing. Right and right. All right, now we get to add the percentage to move these out. So the first one, we're going to make this so it's not right up against that edge. All right. So the width, we're going to make that from the end here. We're going to put 10%. Okay, that's way too much. Three, perfect. All right, so if that's 3, 13%. Oh, close. Perfect. 11%. Now we come down to the button, and we're going to start with 15%. Go down to 14. All right, and there's that. Set up, right? Okay, now remember, we want to rename these. Now, where did I say to rename those? Here? Or do we go to Styles and rename them there? Okay, let's go to here. Blue. Okay. Piece of cake. And we're going to grab the blue just so I can keep track of where I'm at. Now see, I hit the delete. There we go. Now the blue's there. Okay, so now I want to go to the dark, and it's going to be green. Well, before we do this, what we're going to do, actually, watch right here. Notice I just added the green. Okay, that's why we don't do it that route. Okay, so here, green. Now we have to change that section. Blue, come down. See where it says dark? Green. That puts it back. All right, now the green is this one. So, background. Okay, now why is nothing showing up? Well, let's click on the green, go to the background. Now watch, Command V, and there we have it. Now I've added that and made it green through all the pages. Now I don't have to do that on each section. All right, so now let's go to here. So we're going to start with the blue. All right, so now I add the blue. Blue box, remember width is what? 50%, right? Float left. Okay, green box. You want to add the green box.
50%.
50%. 50%. All right, now, why did it go down? Okay, I want to float left. Float right, but I had to click that one back on, see? For that to work. So next, well, all this text should be white. So we're going to change it. Now we're going to go back to the blue, text, color, pound, white. Okay, the green is. Now this one, I'm going to add the paragraph. Yep, we're going fast again because like I said, this is the repeat part. All right, now text color, pound. Okay, well, why didn't it change?
It was already white.
It was already white, exactly. So why should we repeat it? We don't, do we?
No.
All right, so next, what I want to do, though, is I do need $15 pixels there. All right, now we come over to this one. But before we do that, now we're going to add the button. And on the button, make it white as well.
White.
Huh?
That's what I said, make it white.
Yep. Okay, now we go down. We're on the green. So we're going to do the same thing here to the paragraph. 15. Okay, now the button, we need to add text for the button. Piece of cake. All right, next. So we're going to go back really quick. File, save all related files. Save all. All right, so next, what I want to do, if I select that div class, that's that whole thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can, let's add it and watch what happens. The row, all right? Well, now we're going to go and put clear left. See, all that does is straightens that out, okay? So now it's definitely in its right spot. Now we go in one, and now we're going to take that, add a selector, the 1/4, and remember, we want these 25%, right? So let's
Right.
go width, 25%. Okay. Now the image, what percentage do we want the image?
100.
Why?
Because it's 100% of the area.
Exactly. All right, so there we have it. Now we want to go back to this 1/4 left float, and now I have all of them there. All right. Now let's look. Notice that's a little off because we didn't take it back to 1024. So now we're going to go back up here to the nav. Okay. List type none. Now we go to that one. Okay, width 15%. And slowly take that down till it's right there, so 14%. All right, so there's that one, right?
Right.
Now what we want to do is this one. Okay, so we'll take a look. Now what we can do, what we're going to do is we're going to cheat. Again, now what we're going to do is right click on this. Come on. Okay, I guess we're not. It's not letting me.
I do have a question on the page 1024.
Okay,
How come the footer color wasn't changed?
this is the assignment part. That's the assessment part.
Ah,
So the footer is the assessment, and that's the other part where things really mess up. So that's why I'm separating these two out for you. Okay, good question though. It shows you're paying attention. All right, now we're going to go down to 768, right? All right, so we have the 768. Now, the 768, well, they're next to each other, not stacked. But what we can do to make this even a little easier is click on that whole section because all these are inside of that section, right? That div. So now we go to the 768 and we add that, the column. Now we're going to do text, center. That just centered everything. Next, what we want to do is we want to go to that UL, add that. Remember, now we go down to text, come on, UL, text, there we go. Scroll down, none,
none.
gone. All right, that's all set. That's now set up, right?
No.
No, what's not?
I'm pretty sure on the 768, they're straight in the service gallery and the crew and contact us are in a straight line underneath.
Exactly. 768. Okay, so to do that, remember, now we go to the smaller one because everything's 100%. So now we have to take that and we're going to put the text center. Now, okay, we'll do that one in a second. But first, what I want to do is there's 4 of them. So what if I put 25%? Okay. And then left float. Guess what? They're all at the right spot and everything. Do you see where I did the difference of percentage here from the last time I did this? Now everything's lined up the way it is here. Kinda. Because this, let's go back and look, is smaller on all these. See that?
Yes.
So that's where we're going to leave it. So we're going to go File, Save All Related, Save All. All right, so the next thing, well, now that brings us to the banner. Okay, so the banner, we're going to do the same thing. Clear left. And the height, remember the height, come on. Okay. But now I can sit here and adjust it the way I need until it does that click. See it?
Yep.
Okay. So 380, right?
Right.
All right. So next, what I want to do is, well, let's go ahead and we're going to throw a loop in here. We're going to go to the text and left justify. See how much easier that one is rather than sitting there doing that in every one of them?
Yes.
So I just took a step out. Now, can you do either way? Yes, it's up to you guys, okay? Like I said, I'm going to show you other steps to get the same thing. You guys will get to choose. I'm showing you these multiple steps because not everybody, not all the steps, step will click for the exact same thing for every exact person. So I'll show you all these extra steps that it's not an extra step to do if you use that route instead of the other route. All right, so next, what we want to do. Well, now we're going to take and we're going to add this one. So the H3 for the banner. Now let's put 14%. Okay, that's a little off, isn't it? Well,
Yes.
13. There we go. 13%. This one, well, guess what? That's already set, but we need to put the 15 below it, right? The 15 pixels.
Right.
15. And now we're going to add this one. And the button, let's go with 15%. Almost. All right. Now this is a little high, so I want to move it down. So we go up to the 3. And there we go. But that makes that one hard to read, doesn't it?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is go back to the banner, all text.
Change it green.
Easier. We're going to change it to green. Okay. Now I have to go to the button, text color, green, and the outline, color, green. And there we have it. Piece of cake, right?
Right.
Now we're going to go File, Save All Related Files, Save All. All right, so let's double check. Good, good. Good. Ooh, it dropped it. See how that one dropped that one down on the 1024?
Yes.
Now if I click out there, it's still down. All right, so let's go back to the 1024 and notice 0. We hit the enter file, save all related. I just showed you how to fix that little glitch because now watch. Set. That's set. So you saw how to fix that glitch, right? I just hit an enter on the 0.
Yes.
Okay, now, well, for this one, they're 50%, right? Well, let's click on this one, the info, blue info. That one's going to be down here, and we're going to add it. Width, 50%. Float left. Now the green, same thing. Float left. 50%. All right, so this should all be white. So we're going to do that here again on the blue. Text. Pound. White. The button. Well, we need to add the P there. So we're going to add it, the paragraph. $15 here. All right, so now you see that worked. Now we've got to add the button. So we add the button. Same thing, text, white. All right, now we come over to this one. Same thing. Add. And same thing, 15. This one, we're now going to add it. Text. All right, so now, file, save all related, save all. All right, so now let's double check. Good. Still good. All right, now that puts us onto this. All right, so we go to this one. Notice the column's up here still. All right, so we're going to go back one. We're going to add that same thing, the row, and do the clear left. Okay, now we go to this, add it. Okay, there's the fourth, and I'm going to do this, width, 50%, right?
Right.
Okay, now the images, we need to add those at 100, right? See what I mean by the more I'm doing this, the more you're actually catching on. And there we have it. So file, save all related files, file, save all. Ah, try that again, file, save all. All right, so now I have that one and I have that one set up. Don't worry about the other one. Like I said, it is causing trouble. So what I want you to do is take this and you know what? Yeah, we're going to take this. This is the assignment. So let's go back to my file. Desktop. All right, so there's my file, right? This is everything.
Right.
What I want you to do, right-click,
And compress.
compress. Name it the way that it is named in the directions, and there's your week 1 assignment. Okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, now we're going to move on to the assessment. The assessment's the footer, and we're going to add the links. All right, so you'll notice there is no link for home. A lot of websites are now using this graphic for the link. All you have to do is come down here, index.html. All right, that just added the link. But now we go to the services. You'll see the services, see where it's over here? Services.html. But I hit enter. See how it disappeared?
Yes.
What we need to do for this is we're going to cheat. We're going to tie it to the index. Notice again, it didn't stick. Well, this is why. See where that goes to the A?
Yeah.
Now, see where this pound is?
Uh-huh.
Now watch. Services.html. There we go. Notice how that stayed. You have to go all the way down to the A for that to stay. And notice I'm also doing lowercase. GALLERY.html, enter. There we go. You don't want to click down to the word on this one because that's too far. You want to click to the A, where this pound shows up. crew.html. And then the last one. Sometimes it takes a couple clicks to get to it. And we're going to do the same thing. contact.html. All right, so now I have my links set up. So we're going to go File, Save All. Next, we're going to go down here to the footer. Okay, now we're going to go back and look at the footer. Notice it's that green. Okay, so the footer is this green right here. What we're going to do is go down. Now we click in the footer. Notice how the footer goes up.
Right.
Now we're on 1024, right? So what we have to do is the same thing. Remember how I had to put that section, because there's no body footer. Now, there is. We have to do clear left. All right, that puts it down there. Now you'll notice these graphics are not the same size. That's why we're not worrying about that, okay? But now I'm going to put the color there. Because that's the footer, well, let's put the background color right there. And we have that one set up. But now the text itself is white, correct?
Right.
On all of them. So there we go. But also on this one, 1024, it's left justified. We left justify. Notice that didn't work because I'm not down in the text section, the footer text. Remember, you got to go to that lower class, the lowest class that will do for that section, right?
Right.
Okay, so now we have to add that one. Here's our text. We're going to go text, left justify. Okay. Now the text, because of that, the width, 60%. And that puts it right there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is File, Save All Related Files, File, Save All. Now we come back, and you'll notice I have these over here, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is after that column div, I'm going to put in another insert, and I'm going to put in, we want to be on the HTML, a div. At this point, the class, I'm going to call it social. All right. So now the social has its own section. So first, insert image. Notice we have them here, Facebook, image, Pinterest, whoops, and Twitter. Okay, and as you can see, we have our div open and close, right?
Right.
And now, let's take a look. This is what we end up with. So for that div class, well, now we're going to take that, put it right there so it's at the same spot. Okay, that way I can keep an eye on it for now. All right, so now I want that div. Let's go back to my CSS. 1024 to the very bottom. And I'm going to add the social. All right, so now that one, what we're going to do is, now if I float right, look what happens. Puts them right there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Float left. Well, that's because it's inside this row. All right, now what I want to do, we're going to take that, copy it. All right. Go down one more and put it there. Now, watch the difference. Okay, so now that one's gone because it's not tied to anything. So now we have to go back social, add it again. See how it's its own section now?
Yes.
Now we're going to go float left. Okay, float right, enter. See, that still didn't do what we needed to, did it? It did not put it up there. And this is one of those cases where this template is not doing what it's supposed to do. So we're going to copy that, put it right here. Okay, put it on here, delete. Oh, okay, so it's gone. All right, so now I want to add that section here, okay? Now we're going to add the social section again. Okay. Come down here. Float. And watch the width. Notice nothing happened except it moved it back, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's go down here to the margins. Nothing happened again, did it?
Right.
See, and that's the problem with this one, this template, is those will not go up to there. the way they're supposed to. But there is one other possibility that we could do. We're now going to get rid of that section. Okay. So it's gone. Notice these are right after that P. All right. So let's go to here. Very bottom, delete. All right. So now, if I want the image, now we're going to add the images. Come down here. Width. %. Whoa, that's definitely not going to work, is it?
No.
Okay, so we're going to leave that then as is. Margins, well, let's add. See how that adds that? Okay. And see how that takes it back?
Yes.
Where we come up here to the footer text. Now we're going to float it left. See now how that puts it up there? So
Yeah.
this is the way of doing that, okay? It has to be within the same div as that column, okay? Which, yeah, I don't know why they did it, but that's it. Now, if I go float right, see how that starts to do that? Now I'll have control later, okay? So now I want to take, and what we're going to do is at the end of this, the text, we're going to add. %. 30% right there. All right, now if we go to those images, add just a little in between them. Back to there. Come on, there we go. %. And then go to here. And we're going to leave it right there. All right, now notice this section though, the footer, needs to be taller. So all we have to do is let's go to 30, no. And there we have it. Take a look. All right. File. Save all related files. Save all. Now we're going to go to the 768 and take a look at it. Well, the difference is these are up here and this is centered. All right. So let's go down. Oh, it's already centered. So what we're going to do is grab the footer. 768, go to the bottom. Add the footer. Now the footer, again, we're going to clear left. There we go. And we're going to put that color in the background. So the background. All right. Now, this, how do we get it to go left? Well, what we're going to do first is this. Well, let's add it. Okay, now we have the text. Go down. Notice nothing happens there, there, or there. Now if I go here or here, nothing, right? So nothing's going to happen with that. So what we're going to do now is go to the image. Notice nothing's happening. And this is where that problem is again. Okay, so I go to here, to the text. Well, we're going to get rid of that first. Whoops. Okay, so let's go back to 768, very bottom. All right, so now we're going to get rid of that one. So what we're going to do is now we're going to add here. Now, here's what happens if I do that. Okay, that footer still needs to be down there. Now those boxes though, all right, so if I go to this div, now I go to this one, we'll add it, the text. Do that, go to these, to the images, right. And this is why I was saying I'm not going to make you guys work on that one because you have to rearrange stuff. And I'm not going to make you do that. Okay? So I'm going to let you guys leave this, but the only thing that you need to add there, now I no longer need this one, but the one thing you do need to add what was the width? Well, let's go 5 and 5. All right, that's the only thing. And then this one, now what you need to do with that is, well, all the text, so you can go back to the footer, text, pound, is white. All right, now let's go to the images. Now the images here, notice how that's moving the whole thing, right?
Right.
So that's why I'm not making you guys work on that. All right. So we're going to save it as is. File, save all related files. File, save all. All right, now we come to here. That works. We come to here. That works, right?
Right.
All right, so the next thing you need to do is now we're going to close that. Go to the files. All right. Well, here, let's bring that up just so that you can see what you need to do. All right, so we've got our index. Now we're going to right click on it. Come down here to edit, duplicate. And then you'll have index copy, double click. Come on. Okay, sometimes the double click works, sometimes not, and it'll open it. So the easiest way is right click, edit, rename, services. So you're gonna, I need 3 more. So file, edit, duplicate, edit, duplicate, edit, duplicate. Right? So this one, gallery. So edit, rename, Gallery, crew, and contact. Edit, rename. All right, now we hit refresh and it puts them in order. And now what we're going to do is go to each one of those. We're almost finished, so we go back here. Notice up here at the top, remember here we're going to put, follow the directions, but I'm showing you how to do it, okay? Contact page. So I'm just showing you, so this may not be how you do it. I'm leaving some of that up to you guys. So close the contact, save it. All right, now we need the gallery, services, and crew. All right, services. We'll go to the very top. Services page. Close, save. Very top. Gallery. Page. Close, save. Crew. And the directions tell you what to name these. Save. And now, watch this, Google Chrome. All right, we have here, notice it works. Okay, now, services, home, gallery, services. See how that's changing up top?
Yes.
All right, now we're going to close this. We're finished with Dreamweaver for tonight. And then we come back to here, and guess what? Now I'm going to right-click, compress. Rename it the proper name that the directions say to name it. Submit it. That's your assessment right there. All right?
Okay.
So we've gone over tonight why we're not doing the smartphone. Normally it would work, just with this template it won't. And with Dreamweaver acting up, it's not going to. All right, so we've gone over what to do for the assignment, which is the tablet and the desktop. And then what to do for the assessment, which is each page and the footer. All right, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, then based on that, like I said, I'm going to send out the files this week to you guys. And so you can start getting to know those terms. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end class for tonight. Thank you for coming. This has been a fun time tonight, and I look forward to seeing you guys, your work, and then seeing you guys next week. Thank you.
You're welcome.